they don't have an offensive line.
Jesse the Body and Squirrel live.
Welcome back, guys. This is Twirling Around with Jesse the Body and a special guest today with us, Mr. Sota Man. He's not special at all. He's been with us a long time, guys. Old man coming in, walking the mountains of the old Tennessee, kind of getting back to the kind of old norm. What are you doing now back in days, buddy? How you been, man?
Hey, buddy. Hey, it's good to be on here with you gentlemen. Heard you had a minute today, and of course, would love to jump at that opportunity and talk some sports with you guys and get back talking with y'all. So it's good to be here. Hey, Squirrel, it's not about me though. It's about you and your family building tonight, buddy. So
yeah, family's getting bigger today, buddy. Well, family will get bigger tomorrow, really, but yeah, it will. Next show that we do after this one, I will be a father of one Ada
You'll have that
Jane.
dad strength.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll have that big dad strength. But yes, I will be a father of one Ada Jane Sapp. That'll be my little baby girl. So yeah, can't be happier. I can't be more excited, man. I know my wife's ready to get it over with. So it's awesome. It's a great time. But I'll tell you what, some of the biggest news in the nation right now is actually in Minnesota, and they have filled a void in the quarterback room of Kirk Cousins' absence. And I just wanted to get your thought as one of the biggest Minnesota Viking fans and Minnesota sports fans that I know personally. With the gracious of my heart, I would love to ask you your thoughts and give you just a few minutes, buddy, of your own time on what do you feel about Josh Dobbs and the new regime of the year for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. So yeah, all eyes have kind of been on what Minnesota was going to do at the deadline, and that's not to overlook some of the bigger acquisitions like the Montez Sweat deal and Chase Young deal. Those were some big ones too. But I know a lot of people were super interested in seeing what the Vikings were going to do just because of how everything has played out through 8 weeks, like up until almost the last minute of the trade deadline. I mean, you have us getting off to a horrific start. Whole league writes us off, says, "Oh man, that's last year was a fluke. Kevin O'Connell might not actually be a great head coach."
I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it was
and then you start storming back. You have a great month of October. We're 3-0 in the last 3 and 4-1 in the last 5, I believe. And so you start seeing guys click, and that's all with JJ. I'm sure we can all agree top 2 at the very least wide receiver in all of the NFL. Missing some of those games. Jordan Addison stepped up big. It's been fun. You see Kirk rolling, as we all know. We're all in the same fantasy football leagues. Kirk's been having a great year fantasy wise. If Vikings keep this going, I mean, who knows? He's maybe in MVP talks at the end of the year if they kept going.
Finally,
finally. I mean, he's had a long, awesome career. When he retires, I feel like people are going to have a little bit of remorse, not appreciating the longevity of what he's done. Not necessarily that he's been like the highest level, but he has been average to above average to really good for all of these years. And that's hard to have that much consistency. But moving on from that, that's tough. You hate to see Kirk go down, but we're in this spot where Jaron Hall, as a guy who follows the team very closely, love the team. They're my squad. You don't really want to put the momentum that we've been gaining on a 5th round rookie's shoulders. That's just not typical of what you want moving forward with your franchise as you have all this excitement. You've gathered talent. Jesse and I were talking a little bit earlier, blow it all. We were talking, do we blow it up X, Y's? And it's like, no, I do think if you look top to bottom now that the defense has started to play really well and show themselves, there's a lot of talent on this roster. It'd be hard to throw this roster to the wind and be like, yep, let's just start from scratch, because there are so many key pieces that I think you could build off of. You have a good young offensive line, so much so where our offensive line is finally playing well enough to where we had an embarrassment of riches and we could afford to trade Ezra Cleveland for a pick moving forward next year, because Dalton Reisner has been playing so good at our left guard. So all that being said, you look up and you set up Jaren Hall and you're like, all right, maybe we can catch lightning in a bottle. You have Nick Mullins coming back in a couple weeks. Now, Nick Mullins is one of those guys. He's been around the league for quite a few years. He started in Kyle Shanahan's system. He's, I think, made 1 or 2 spot starts for the Vikings. Somebody that is good to have in that quarterback room, and apparently he's very, very competitive. So, maybe that competition drives the people competing right now, right? And then you add Josh Dobbs, who I believe is a low-key phenomenal trade. I think for the value they got out of him, where they also got a pick back in a 7th rounder, but they just gave up a 6th. But now they just got a 6th from the Jaguars for Ezra Cleveland. So you can almost kind of let's see where we go from here. It was a really good deal on paper, and Josh Dobbs is highly spoken about wherever he goes. You guys know and alluded to, I'm out here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm 10 minutes away, 5-10 minutes away from the campus here. People have been talking about Dobbs all year. All these Knoxville, Tennessee volunteer fans, they've been saying, hey, Dobbs just needs his chance. Now, he was one of the only successful quarterbacks in Tennessee history since Peyton Manning has left until this Josh Heupel era got here. Like, they were terrible for so many years, and the only success they had, they went 9-4, 9-4, won back-to-back bowls with Josh Dobbs as their quarterback. He's proven to be able to accept that role of stepping in at the last minute in the NFL. So all this being said, I know you said you were going to give me a minute to ramble, and obviously I could keep going. I do want to hear what you guys have to say. But, man, I appreciate what we did by getting Dobbs, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these next 4 to 5 weeks are going to play out. And then obviously after that, we'll see. But these next, 4 or 5 weeks are going to be crucial with Jaren Hall starting this week. And then, we start getting Mullins back and we start throwing Dobbs in the mix. We got a lot of different ways to go. And then we got Jefferson coming back in about 3-4, hopefully, weeks. But yeah.
Jesse, your thoughts on Dobbs? A little bit.
I think we all agree on this. We texted back and forth when it happened right away, and you shit on us a little bit and wanted to bring your Anthony Richardson into it and all that. But
dude, what do you mean?
You don't think?
Yesterday,
I didn't ask for your opinion or your 2 cents. I just threw mine out there. Just you stay back there quiet. So, anyways, you don't think they're going to start him this week? You don't think that Dobbs starts right away?
No, I think ultimately this close to starting the week, I think we go with the guy who's been in house for the last 3-4 months straight. You give him at least a shot to go out there and see what he can do against the struggling in transition Atlanta team. We're going into it at Atlanta, but also, what are they doing at quarterback? It sounds like they're benching Ritter now. You remember last year, he was their franchise guy. So I think, you go with Jaren Hall this week. You see what you got, and then you have Dobbs waiting in the wings for the week after.
I like Dobbs. We said that. There's only 3 quarterbacks in the league that have thrown for at least 1,500 yards and rushed for 300 yards. And he's one of them, and he's one of them. There's the guy who's second to Kirk Cousins and air yards traveled for the ball is this guy, so you're sort of kind of getting one and the same as far as the guy will pressure it deep down the field. And let's not forget, the dude's a nuclear engineer for NASA. He was working for NASA a couple months ago. He's a genius. So he could see the field. He could see defenses. He's a smart guy. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more in the vein of we're still trying to compete, and that's as a fan, that's all that you want. We've had a lot of tough breaks this year, after a fun season last year, but ultimately a tough break at the end of the year with the Giants. And then this year has been pretty tough as a fan, and so you love to see them go out and get this guy who Arizona's just going to kind of throw to the wind, and we're going to say, hey, you know what? Come on over to Minnesota. We'll give you a shot real quick, see what you can do. And yeah, it's a great kid. It's a great story. You hope for success, not just as a Vikings fan, but just as somebody who appreciates football and good football games.
Yeah.